What's up? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to work harder, but with less effort, or the work is going to feel less dense and pressured and stressful. And I'm going to do this by giving you a couple examples from famous celebrities, as well as an example from my life. But by the end of this video, the main goal is for you to be able to ask yourself, what do you want and why do you want it? So Ed Sheeran's been obsessed with words since he was a little kid. And his fascination from words caused him to perform for free. And after performing for free at bars and clubs and on the streets at coffee shops, he would come home and still write lyrics. He was just obsessed with words and how you can move them around like puzzles, and he just couldn't get enough of it. And people felt his love. Before he got popular, there were celebrities that really could sense his love, but also his skill because he was getting better, and they let Ed Sheeran sleep on their couch. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was Will Smith who allowed Ed Sheeran to stay with him because he really didn't have anywhere to stay in the States, in California, because he's from the UK, I believe. So Will Smith allowed him into his home and let Ed Sheeran sleep on his couch because he could just sense that passion and that joy. And now Ed Sheeran's arguably the best songwriter of all time. And I believe so because he's able to rap really well, better than a lot of rappers that are out right now. He's able to write really good verses, but more importantly, he's able to write a really catchy hook. And he talked about how he got this good was from the 10,000 hour principle. And if you don't know what that principle is, it's if you put 10,000 hours of work into anything, you master it. And there's no denying he's a master of his craft. Kobe decided at the age 13 he wanted to be the best basketball player ever. He loved everything about basketball. He loved the smell of the court first thing in the morning after it was cleaned at night. He loved the sound of the ball bouncing. He loved the sound of his sneakers screeching on the court. He loved the sound of the ball going through the net, especially on a swish. But basketball is also his therapy. When he was going through legal issues and going through particular injuries, his escape was basketball, was committing to something that put him into a flow state, that really connected him to his core, his love. And when he felt that warmth for basketball, it basically made everything else seem okay. But what Kobe's really most known for is his work ethic. He was able to literally work harder than everyone else. His trainer said that Kobe actually worked harder than Michael Jordan, and many people believe that Michael Jordan is better than Kobe. I don't think so because, again, I think Kobe worked harder and got better at the skill of basketball. But anyway, going back to the point of the whole video, working harder, Kobe would work out 3 times a day, and his first workout was at 4:30 in the morning. So he is literally doing triple the amount of work, and that's why at one point he was, without a doubt, the best player in basketball. But that work ethic is what people remember him by. That's what motivates people. It's honestly what motivates me to make a lot of content every day. I ask myself, what would Kobe do? And Kobe realized that's what he wanted to leave as his legacy. He has a book called Mamba Mentality. His work ethic was called Mamba Mentality. And anytime anyone's working harder, they'll post on Instagram and the hashtag will be Mamba Mentality. During Kobe's jersey retirement speech, he said the reason why he worked so hard was to really show his daughters that anything that they want, they can get if they really put in the time and the effort. And he talked about in his very last game, he worked really hard to score the 60 points because he wanted to leave with that inspiration to others. He wanted to motivate others to leave it all on the court or whatever your craft is, no matter what. For me, I've been working 40 hours a week, waking up sometimes at 3:45 in the morning because I work at a coffee shop and the hours are crazy at a coffee shop. And before or after work, I'll either go to the gym or work on these videos. And there's a lot of nuanced things about these videos that people really don't understand. And it does take a lot more effort than I realized, because initially I was just writing on Twitter and on an app called Medium. And when I decided to do video, because that's what felt right to me, more on this later, but that's what felt right to me. And once I realized everything that took to make a video, I realized I have to even put in more time and effort. Like, you have to script out your videos. And for me, I'm very type A or very anal. And when I write out my videos, they're very detailed. It's almost like a full-on blog post, or all my points have to be organized and I have to write them by hand. I have them right next to me just so I stay on point. But that takes a lot of time. And then making all the mistakes you make during a video, and then going through and editing it. And the most annoying, honestly, is the thumbnail. And all this stuff I have to fit in before or after work. But on top of that, I've also committed to making 3 TikToks a day, because I believe this is a topic for another video and really not my niche, but I believe TikTok is going to be a very useful app for everyone. I could even see it surpassing YouTube. But again, I don't know. So I feel like I have to create on both and just see what happens. So I'm literally putting in all my extra time that I used to watch Netflix or even watch basketball. Really, the only things I do in my free time now are go to the gym and watch a little bit of basketball and a little bit of reality TV, because I just can't help myself. But for me, the reason why I'm working the way I'm working, or as hard as I'm working, is because I want to escape customer service. I've been in customer service since I was 16. I'm 30 now. And I got to a point where I was like, this is causing me so much pain that I just want to escape it. And I do like making content. And I realized I was going to go to school to be a marriage and family therapist, but I didn't want to make the commitment of going to school for 2 to 4 years, paying all that money. And I believe that I've gotten so much more value from self-help books and YouTube videos and just content in general. I didn't want to make that commitment, but I knew if I didn't want to go to school, I had to basically pick another path, and content creation just felt right. And I basically burning the boats on school. This is a little more risky, so I feel like I even have to work even harder. So there's 2 questions you need to ask yourself if you really want to work harder and get better results. And that is, what do you want and why do you want it? I believe the why is way more important. There's a famous philosopher named Friedrich Nietzsche, and he said, any man who has a why can bear any how. Because you can pick anything, it doesn't matter what it is, you can pick any path, but if your why is very intense to you, you're gonna have that follow through. You're gonna work harder, and it's not even gonna feel like work, right? Like Ed Sheeran and Kobe, they were doing things from a place of love. So they knew what they wanted to do, music or basketball, and they loved what they did so much, it just felt effortless. But you don't always have to do something from love. You can do something from pain or fear. And that's where I'm coming from. So the 9 to 5 is causing me so much pain that I was like, man, I have to do something or I'm gonna be stuck in this pain. So I decided to make content, and that pain is feeling me. Also, there's a little bit of fear. Since I burned the boats by not going to school, I have a little bit of fear that I have to make it in content creation, or I'm gonna be stuck in the 9 to 5. So one is not better than the other. Doing something from love is not better than doing something from pain. The only thing that matters is you feel purposeful on your journey, that you feel alive, and that you feel like you're going to accomplish your goal no matter what. That's the only thing that ever matters in life, is enjoying the process. But there's no way we're gonna enjoy the pain of the process unless we know our why. I think a big hurdle people are gonna have when they watch this video is like, how do I know what do I wanna do? And again, there's so many things you can do. So if Steve Jobs was born at a different era or in a different time where technology really wasn't present, he loved playing the guitar and making music. Apple was really meant for creatives. That's why you see so many musicians in Apple commercials. Steve Jobs wanted to make creating easier for artists. So for him, if technology wasn't as relevant, he would have picked music because that was just what's available. And he would have just gone all in and probably would have been successful because he loved music. If Vincent van Gogh was still alive today, his art would look different. Perhaps instead of painting, he would be an illustrator because there's more technology. And Vincent van Gogh also loved writing. He would write letters to his brothers, and those letters actually have been published into books. And who knows what he would have done today, but he would have felt into his body when he asked himself, what does he want to do? And came up with an answer that felt right in that moment based on everything that's available. There's so many things you can do. You just have to ask yourself, what do I want? What feels right? And then just pick. Another factor that can affect what do I want is your environment. So if you want to be a surfer, you most likely want to be a surfer because you live in an environment that's warmer that allows you to surf. But you're probably not going to want to be a snowboarder if you live in warmer weather because you're not exposed to snowboarding. So your environment and what you're exposed to is also going to influence what you want to do. So perhaps you can go on a little bit of a self-exploration journey and just try different things to see what feels right. Because our personalities are very expansive. We don't have this one set in stone purpose. We have so many interests and likes and dislikes that until you really experiment and try things, you're never gonna know. I know for me, I've changed my major 4 or 5 times when I was going to school. It took me forever to get my bachelor's because I changed my major so many times. I actually have 4 AAs because I changed my major so many times. And then at one point I actually dropped out of school and I experimented. I actually got my real estate license, realized that wasn't for me. I started training athletes, which I thought was my first purpose, but I realized that wasn't for me. And it wasn't until I started reading self-help books about mental health and spiritual topics that I was like, okay, I want to do this. Then I went back to school for psychology while working full-time, and while going to school full-time, I got all A's and B's because that felt right to me in the moment. But while I was going to school, I was like, everything I'm learning and the time I'm putting in, I can put into something else. And I feel like I'm going to be more successful. And that's why, again, I started making videos. I really feel like the books felt more aligned to me than a textbook. And making videos felt more aligned to me than writing. I mean, look at writing. I felt like writing instinctually felt right. And it was more from a place of fear because I was afraid to put myself on camera. I just felt like I would come off tense because of how like structured I want everything to be. But I also enjoy getting into my body and doing things that are a little more physical. That's why I love going to the gym no matter what. I go to the gym about 5-6 days a week. It's because I love doing things that really get me in my body, and I feel like when I'm talking, I'm more into my body. And now when it really comes to working harder, you have to remind yourself of your why often. So for me, when I'm tired, I can make so many excuses on why not to do something, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, I can make excuses on why to do something. So for me, whenever I'm feeling tired and just want to go to sleep and rest, I'll even make an excuse. Oh, I just need to rest, and then tomorrow I will do even more content creation. But I notice for me, I treat it like the gym. Whenever I'm feeling tired, no matter what, I go to the gym because 1, I don't want to gain weight, and 2, I like the way I look, but 3, I also have a goal of getting even leaner. So I have so many whys. And when I throw up the vision of myself, when I mean throw up, like I throw up in my mind what I visualize myself looking like, that is my motivation. And when I'm feeling tired and don't feel like making videos, I kind of throw up a vision of what my life is going to be like when I'm able to make content for a living, when I'm able to help people mentally and emotionally. And that's what basically gives me more gas in my tank to keep making videos. Again, I hope this video helped. I really hoped you got a lot from this video and feel more content with your path, or more content that you're gonna find a path. And once you find a path, you're just gonna put in that consistency to where you're gonna exceed. Till next time, peace.